Hello, this is Doug Hines, CEO of PathWrangler. Welcome to our training video. In previous videos, we've dealt with building gear lists. We've also built itineraries and trip templates. Today, we're going to show you about trip management. In particular with trip management is how to create various trips from trip templates, but also we're going to show how to invite people into the various trips that you'll be running. So with the example that we used last time, we're going to go back into the Skeleton Coast trip. And the first thing that we're going to do from the Skeleton Coast trip is we actually want to go in and create some instances off of this. So again, this is a template. We've already created our overall itinerary. We've created our gear list. We've done a lot of work. So the template makes it really easy to create various instances. So we're going to say for now that we're going to be running a couple of these trips. So we're going to be running one in November. So we go in here and create new trip, and we're going to put a new label on here, create this trip. And then we're also going to create another trip on here for our December version. So we have to go back in here to My Templates, go back into Skeleton Coast trip, select trips again. We're going to create a new trip, and we're going to call this one December. On a previous version, I'd created one, so there's actually 3 trips that are sitting in here. So as we have people that are signing up for these various trips through our normal channels, or we want to invite people onto these trips, what we're going to do here is as we invite, remember we always start in with our organizer toolbox. This is all about trip management, editing, adding people, subtracting people, or doing any edits to itineraries or gear lists. We're going to go to manage people. And this is the December trip. So what we do is we're going to invite a person, and all we need to do is have their email address. That's it. So I'm just going to add in a random email address in here. Now here's a really important point. We have to give each user a role in this in this trip. So you can either be an organizer plus an organizer and or a participant on this trip. So the organizer plus role is anybody that you want to bring into this trip. And the role, they're allowed to do all editing in here. They can edit the trip, they can edit the itinerary, they can edit the gear, they can edit the trip, however they see fit. The organizer role is not allowed to do any of that. However, the 2 various organizer roles, these are the people that will be collaborating on the group gear list. So organizer can't edit, organizer plus can. Now the participant is anybody that is actually going on the trip. So they're the ones that are able to collaborate with the individual gear list. So you can actually assign multiple roles to people. So if I want to bring somebody who's going to be helping me organize this trip, and they're also going on the trip, I would give them an organizer plus role and a participant. You can't be all 3. You can only be one of the 2 various organizers. Let's say I change my mind and I don't want this person to do any editing of the trip, but I want them to be able to collaborate with me on the group gear list that I created earlier. I can select here, and I'll send this invitation out. Now, let's say for instance there's a particular client that I want them to just be able to see the participant gear list only. I don't want them to see the group gear list or any of the support things because it'll confuse them, or that's just something that's not relevant to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and create another list in here for this person who's only going to be going on the trip. So I'm going to send them only a participant list. Now there's one period you might have somebody who's actually staying behind, who's helping to organize a trip, but actually won't be going on it. So you can give them the organizer plus organizer roles, and they don't have to see the group gear list or the participant list. So that gives you an idea of how you'll be able to go in there and invite people into a trip and manage them. Now, also managing people, you can also remove people from lists too. So as those invites come through, you can go through here and you can actually remove people from this Manage People screen. This will give you an idea of how you create trips, manage trips from here. Also, how you can manage people. Now going back into the trip management piece of this, we're now working within the particular trip instance. This is no longer the template. So we can make any types of edits that we want to the itinerary and the gear list here that might be particular to this December trip. This does not affect the template that you had, and it does not affect any other trips. All the edits that are done will only be affected to this trip over here. If you want to go back in and have regular updates and edits for your trip templates, you'll make that change in there, and then all the future trips that you have after that will be changed. So this gives you an idea about some general principles around trip management and managing people within the context of templates and trips.